What else do you do during a pandemic besides
Right.
have lots of sex with your significant other
I,
or write a book? What do you, well,
oh,
hi.
oh,
A
there we are.
shortstop.
Are you talking about first base, second base? What are we doing? Playing baseball?
We we're talking about girls softball. I have three daughters. I can hear you.
Awesome. I
Uh,
know. Hold on.
that's okay. It's fine. Technology's hard. I understand it. I get sometimes.
No, I get it. It's called Florida and it is pouring out. Hold on.
Porn is nice here. It's about 75 degrees. No rain.
Where are you?
I'm in New York. Vanessa, the voice you'll hear, is up in Canada. She says it's nice there. It's not raining, right, Vanessa?
Nope.
Nope.
Hi, Vanessa.
Yeah,
Hi.
Vanessa's
Thank
what
you for joining
keeps,
us.
keeps the show.
Yes, I am here. I am here.
Yes, thank you for giving us your time today. This is a special show. We usually do it live at night, but you know we
Oh.
get somebody of your caliber. You know we gotta crowbar. We gotta make some special arrangements. We were just talking about, like I said, I had three daughters. They're all into everything: gymnastics, which is something you were into, softball, and it's that softball season. And I have a pitcher and a catcher, and then a 6-year-old who plays wherever you tell her to play. Really. I got that.
Oh my
going for me.
gosh, athleticism. It's great. At least you got them active.
Yes,
Cool.
yes. It's so busy, so active. I have a ton of notes.
Okay.
We're not going to get through everything. I mean, it's 40 years of stuff into a book, and people need to get the book, whether it's physical or digital.
Are we live yet?
Yeah, we are live. We're always live.
Oh, hey. Okay, then we can start rolling.
we can.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no worries.
Yeah, we're always live. It's easier for me to always be on. And I don't know how to explain it. I have a couple.
No, I get it.
You get
I
it, right?
When
Like-
it's live and it's on, you never know what you might miss. And then that was great. You can't get it back if you don't have it. So yeah, we'll roll with it.
We were talking. We started about 30 minutes early. Me and Vanessa. We were just talking back and forth, and I came up with some things I wanted to ask you, and I didn't have them on my notes, so I'm just going to lead with those. One of them pertaining to the book. Did you ever think of doing an audio version? So whether that's you voice it yourself or you get somebody else, would ECW Press be into that?
Okay, so let's back up here a bit. So should I call you the standing streamer, or do you have a name? I know Vanessa's in the background. Or what do you want? I know you've probably been called a few things, but let's go standing streamer.
That's great, good for me. If you can remember it, you can call me that. You can call me anything. It doesn't matter.
ESS. Okay,
There you go.
acronym. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, of course, it's about promoting the book. It's about promoting so many things. And I've had a very colorful 40-year career. I've chose this. I actually was putting myself through school to be a nurse, and then I chose wrestling. And so now, then I was mending bones, and then I ended up breaking bones. So it's, fast forward. Here we are after all of this. I just retired monster trucks after 20 years. In 2020, my last race was in Australia. Again, you never say never, but I like to shift. I like to transition. I love change, and people are wicked when it comes to change because it's unfamiliar, it's risky, it's scary, the fear, right? So I love change even at my age. And I just hope everybody in our business is able to live a life as colorful and make it to the age of 60 and be able to tell your story, because I believe everyone deserves and everyone does have a story. So John Arezzi, he was a promoter back in the 80s. He's the one that actually facilitated all of this and put it together and said, hey, you need to finish this book. And so, then ECW Press was, they're from Canada, and I'm very close to Canada because I'm originally from Minnesota. So hey, I know I know what it's like being half frozen half the year, and so there's that. So when we had our partnership and came together, I thought, oh my gosh, now's the time, because so many times I tried to publish my book over so many years, but timing's everything, right? TSS, It's like everything is timing, and I almost published it like 3 times. I was like, it's not it. So here it is. What else do you do during a pandemic besides
Right.
have lots of sex with your significant other
Wow.
or write a book?
Yeah.
And I
Right.
chose to write the book. And so to answer your question, I got the deal immediately to do an audio version, which is unheard of. And I just, boom, the book was done. I got the deal to do the audio.
Oh,
And
nice.
so it will be available here probably in 6 months.
Are you voicing that?
I am voicing it. Yes.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes,
Awesome.
I am.
During that pandemic, a silver lining. Obviously, this book comes out. You didn't? Did you write any of this book while having sex with your hubby?
That would have been awesome. In fact, I probably did because I have HADUSA. I threw USA in there
Yeah.
because of Medusa,
Yeah.
and
Always.
and so I probably did have a notebook after hitting the climax part of chapter 11. Just
Um,
kidding.
I'm like, hold on. Let me pull up my book and see what chapter 11.
I don't know. I just threw that out there. I don't even know. I forgot.
Exactly,
I'd
yes.
have to look. Oh my god, that's
you
bad.
you okay? I got a couple more things, and I'll get my notes.
Okay.
You said you hung up the steering wheel for Monster Truck. Never say never. Same thing with wrestling. Maybe never say never. Um, I guess my question, and it goes both ways now with Monster Truck or wrestling. Would you like to get back in the ring or behind the wheel? I'm not going to ask you who you would like to get in the ring with because, like, some of that's out of your control. But do you feel like you have one more match in you?
I do have one more match, absolutely, but it would definitely have to be with someone I felt comfortable with. That, you know, yeah, I have. I probably might not be as agile or quick. And
Right.
I don't know. I'd have to get in the ring for a month or two, or to train and to get that level to see where I'm at. But yeah, definitely, I could have a match. It would have to be with somebody that I know if that I knocked myself out for a second that could carry my ass and say, "Hey, Deuce, you got the sunset flip over the top rope, dive my," oh yeah, that's right. So it'd have to be somebody that is very aware of the ring and psychology and that could carry the match. Yeah. I mean, if I got
Yeah.
knocked out or something.
Uh, you spent a lot of time over in Japan, hard hitting. Have you been knocked out in a match before?
Oh yeah, especially in Japan. Yeah, I remember going back into the dressing room and I remember I just got my hair cut before then because I like to keep it short over there
Yeah.
because it was just whatever. Because I mean, after we wrestled 315 days out of the year, 315 days. So yeah, I like to keep my hair a little short over there, and I forgot that I did that. Apparently, I got knocked out in the ring, and I finished my match somehow, probably because they were feeding it to me.
Right.
And I got back to the dressing room and I sat there and I looked in the mirror and I started I'm like, who in the hell cut my hair? Like there for a
Forgot.
minute, I forgot I had a cut.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that was scary.
you also just mentioned, you're a person, always evolving, always changing. It's kind of a big fast forward, but you retire now. What do you want to conquer next? You've conquered the ring. You've conquered monster trucks. What right authors? What's
Authorism.
next? Author. I made that. Yeah. Well, we'll trademark that. Trademarking
Author.
big aspect.
So I mean, it's not like I've traveled. I've been on the road for over 40 years,
Right.
and I've always had to evolve to in a world of entertainment. It's about keeping yourself relevant into what you feel you're comfortable with, not what society. But in the past in our business, it's what society wanted or what the company wanted, what you had to be. Now we've always had a choice. I believe you always have a choice to say yes or no. However, you're in predicaments that are pretty rough that I felt that a lot of people caved into, and you sell your integrity, you sell your soul. And that to me was very important throughout my career. I could have had bigger contracts. I probably could have had bigger pushes if I would have said yes to some circumstances, but I said no. I was the one with the big voice. I was the one to be heard. I was the one that would definitely try to do it a different way, respectfully, because I didn't like the way women were handled or projected. I tried to change the trajectory of women's wrestling. That was, and monster trucks.
Right.
And so, what is next? I've always have something in the back and that I'm working on. I just don't work on one thing once it ends and then figure it out. It's called, of course, you're multitasking, but it's not getting to the point where it's all convoluted and you get lost. Everything is very organized in a chaotic way, let's say. And so, author was a big part of mine. And now full circle, I first started in the movie industry and I started making a couple movies. And this was way before,
Right.
it was cool for wrestlers to make movies. So I did Street Fighter and Shoot Fighter and, all this stuff way back in the day in the early 80s. So, and 90, or I think 90, early 80s, 90. And so full circle, I just finished again after all my retirement, everything. I jumped both feet back into the movies, and I just did a movie called The Champion, which has turned into a series, and we're hoping that it'll be picked up. So I'm really diving into that, even at my age. And I just it's not really, who cares what age you are? It's what you want to do. It's what you put your mind to. And of course, I give seminars and motivation and educate the kids about the business behind the scene, about trademarking and, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I'm busy. I love life. And I'm a family woman as well. So my family comes first before
I was talking to my wife and my daughters. I was like, yeah, this is who I have on. I showed them some of your matches. I was like, but she literally cracked open. She was ahead of her time, is what I kept saying.
Oh,
as far
way ahead of my time.
We were saying it before. I'm watching these matches right now. So right now I'm watching WWF. You're in there with Bull Nakano right now.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right? And I'm like, oh, well, it's a Lunger Blaze here, but Medusa looks like she's from the future who traveled back in time
I'm a time traveler.
Right? Yeah.
Or whatever.
And I'm like, it's just, and I wasn't recognizing it at the time watching this. But yeah, so I mean, I don't really have a question for that, but anyone can go back and watch these. Did you know?
I think maybe where you were going is that I was ahead of my time.
Yes.
And so when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2015, which I never thought I just wrote it off like, nope, that's it. I'm retiring in 2001 and blah, blah, blah. And when I got the call in 99 to go drive monster trucks, I was like, what? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. But I think that people, when I spoke to Vince, he said, you are the person. When he first hired me in 93, 94, there was a big gap in women's wrestling, but he knew of my athleticism and what my wrestling style was. It was full contact. It was like MMA style twist wrestling, something they've never seen in women before. Right. And then, so it was that style, and he wanted to bring that back, and he did when he brought me back into WWF as a Lunder Blaze. Fast forward, being inducted in the Hall of Fame 2015, I haven't seen or talked to him since, right? Wow. And so all the stories are in my book, by the way,
yes,
between them. And so I first saw him with my hair and rollers and stuff, and I heard his voice. He's like, and I'm like, oh my God, I know that voice. Oh my God. I'm like, ah. And so I'm like, sir, it is so great to see you. Gave him a big hug. The story's in the book. And so a little bit after that, he just said, again, we're at a point where we need your style as a woman, brought back because we need a change.
Right.
And I knew exactly what he meant because, again, he was talking to me. So what happened? I got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2015. And shortly right after, when I saw all of this going down, it made sense what he said to me. They dropped the Divas title, brought the woman's title back, and it was on. So what you were saying is that I'm way ahead of my time. So today's women's wrestling was my style back then. And finally, it has made a full circle, and it is here.
I couldn't agree more. As we said at the start, and we'll probably say several times, evolutionary, revolutionary. Mm-hmm. You've said it several other podcasts, like a paver. Like you paved the way. Like literally you laid down that concrete for everything that we're seeing now. So kudos to you for that.
It takes somebody. It should be a title for a job title. It should be looking for pavers. Paid as just as much as the big superstars when you make them, So
Yeah.
Where's the disconnect? If there's
Uh,
people that pave the way, they should be paid as much as the superstars. So
um,
whatever.
I'm gonna go off on a small tangent. Something we bring up on this. I used to be. I love women's wrestling, but I used to be a big proponent of like an all women's show. Like let's say,
Mm-hmm.
let's take the WWE for example. On Wednesday nights they have an all women show, all women, um, or obviously like Evolution, the all women's pay per view. But then like talking about it, talking with like women should be able to main event the actual show, if that makes sense, with men on it and not have to have their own
You
separate.
talking about Raw
I'm just
or
talking about in general.
SmackDown?
Yeah,
Okay.
just in general. I don't think we need to separate men and women on a show, like have an all women show. I think they can hold their own. I don't think there needs to be any separation. I guess is what I'm getting at there. I don't know.
That a question?
No.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw my 2 cents
Yes,
in.
please
So
do. Help
I
me.
believe that, yeah, I think a show can be men and women, having just men, having just women. Again, we're creating a we're creating that diversion. We're
Right.
creating a problem for a problem.
Right.
So keep the men and women on the shows, right? Okay, but they all have their placement. But again, as I've been stating, and it's been the problem for day one, is that you're only as good as your team. Now, you have a wrestler that does the work. You have a wrestler that works their ass off. You have a wrestler that does everything that is asked of them and more, let's say. But for them to headline or to be the headline of WrestleMania or the headline of SmackDown or Raw, you've got to have the full package. If I'm a damn good wrestler,
Right.
but I don't have a storyline or anything creative, it looks like crap. If I don't have the marketing team behind me or anything like that going into it, it looks like crap. If the ring breaks because the people can't put the ring together, my match is wrapped up.
Yeah.
So if you look at the bigger picture, it's everything together. So, I go back to what Charlotte said, Ashley, and she says, why can't the women's Royal Rumble, the winner of that, go straight into and headline WrestleMania? She's got a valid point.
Right.
However, they're not there yet. Not the women and some of their and some of their how they wrestle and some of them can carry that, but they're not there yet because of the whole team.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you look at the bloodline, that was one hell of a, like it or not, that was one hell of a story written for, and it happened over the course of 30 days.
Right.
You know what I mean? It kept you coming back. It kept you watching it. I'm going to say the majority of people enjoyed it. A small percentage didn't. But what a hell of a story to carry off and executed well. I mean, for it to carry WrestleMania, hell yeah. And Cody and his match, hell yeah, that could have been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a build up into something. Now, I love the Rhea and Charlotte's match. The second half of it to the finish was absolutely excellent. Absolutely excellent. Could it have carried a main event? Would it have been a total main event? A lot of people shout out to the top of their lungs like it should have been. And
Right.
yes, they deserve the right. But it's just like it needs more storyline, the match
The build-up.
itself. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's not fair. You tell me one women's match that has a creative storyline as long as the bloodline. Give me one.
I can't.
Okay, I rest.
I can't do it. I
I
can't do it.
digress. That's it.
Um,
Thank you.
and like, where do you stand? How do you feel? Like, something the WWE always, they say they're always bringing, especially for WrestleMania, they're always bringing back the older wrestler, the Stone Cold or the Rock or whoever the case may be, and they get a bad rap for that. Now they brought Trish and Lita back. Is that needed? Do I have to wait? Do I have to be patient and see how it pans out? Or do they not need to do that?
Well, I mean, for the longest time, they've always had the men legends
Right.
from, the Attitude Era always coming back, always have some type of involvement and they got that opportunity to make that paycheck, right?
Right.
And so and it was meaningful because they were trying to make it make sense, and they had fun. That's at the bottom line. That's what it's about. And with the women, again, it starts with the Attitude Era forward.
Mm-hmm.
And their main people that they always do bring back happens to be Trish and Lita.
Right.
Now it's not, I mean, nothing against those two. They're very colorful and they're hype of the product, and they were it of the day, right? As well as a few other women of that Attitude Era. But those are the choices that always do come back and carry whatever they decide to do. Now, for them to come back for WrestleMania and take two spots from two upcoming women, a lot of people didn't like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
People couldn't understand it. But for that to make sense, maybe this is the storyline that they're going to write more than one time
right.
for it to make sense. And maybe they started it at WrestleMania. People need to cool down to see what happens. Maybe Trish turning heel is it. Right. And then maybe if they just, if Trish turns heel and Lita stays where she's at, maybe those two have a match and it's, what people want. But is it dying down now? People don't care anymore. I don't know. A lot of people are saying that. But the point is, I think it's, great. Everyone still gets their time. Maybe at their age, which they're still a young, are they 40 yet or so? I don't know. I think so. They're in their 40s. I think they're in their 40s.
I'm terrible at ages. I have no idea.
I know, me either. I don't know. God forbid me, Lita and Trish, if you're not in your 40s, forgive me, but I'm pretty sure you are.
Well, edit that in post.
Yeah, whatever. And so, hello, clickbaits. You love me, so you might as well clickbait that to hell. But anyway, so
Medusa says Trish and Lita are too old.
Yeah, there's your clickbait. I did not say that.
No, she did
I said
not.
I think they're in their 40s. That's all I said. Okay, so and for them to come back and prove to people that, hey, you can be in your 40s and come back and be in a WrestleMania, maybe that's a message. Okay, great. But the people need to cool it. And if it's going to be a big storyline because they want a bigger picture and it's just the start of something and then they're slowly out and it continues with their storyline with all the other young talent, then great. Let's see what happens. And it's all on the creative side. That's on you now, guys.
Do you think fans are too impatient to even
sometimes
allow
because they want everything is well, it happened with social media because everything is instant, everything is ready, available, everything's now. People think they know everybody. Just because you see us on TV, people think they know you.
Right.
They think they have a part of you. Right. And if you talk to them or even answer anything or like something, they feel like they are part of you. And it's very scary. It's very scary.
Oh yeah, we've seen a ton of scary situations recently. So,
but most of all, I'm going to say the majority of people out there that enjoy wrestling, that are everyone, my fans, their fans, your fans, whatever. They're very, very good people and they're respectful. It's just the keyboard slingers behind the thing that think they know everything. They're just, they're just jerks. They're dicks.
They're dicks. There's our clickbait. Keyboard warriors are dicks.
Keyboard slingers are dicks.
Keyboard slingers are dicks. Getting back to your book, The Woman Who Would Become King. Why not? Mm-hmm. Why not the woman? Why not queen?
Why not? Why not be king? Why not? I'm the king of my castle.
It's true.
I am. I'm the king of my castle, and Paul Heyman came up with the title because I had two titles to choose from.
That's a good story.
And I was just going back and forth. And Paul and I have been friends over 30 years. So, and when I was talking to him about a few things, and he just came out and asked, "Hey, Deuce, do you have that title yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, God, Paul, I'm torn between these two." And he's like, "Woman Who Would Be King. Deuce, that's you." I'm like, "Oh, my God. Okay, I'm rolling with it."
Yeah, that's in the book.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good story.
It is a good story, and there's a little thing in there. I used to play this card game with Grandma Michelli. And it was called a certain name. And so after winning that game finally with Grandma Michelli and the name of it, the title fit.
Interesting.
You'll have to find that story.
Yeah, so. we'll have to dig deep for that one. Okay, fun fact. So I've never read a wrestling related book. So never. I'm
And you read this one. You read it?
I'll be honest with you. I failed. I have not read it. I also did not physically get it, which I wanted to do because it makes for a good visual. I do have it on my phone. Well, those are my kids, but I have it on my phone. I've started. You can't see that. I've started to read it. It's 40 years condensed into one book. I'm assuming more books are coming because we got wrestling, monster trucks, and we got your personal life.
I put a little bit more monster trucks in there because people didn't realize until they picked up. They're like, you raced monster trucks for 20 years?
I had no idea.
Yeah. So I educated them a little bit more on the monster trucks, but there's probably 8 chapters in there that we're going to pull and probably write a book on each because there's just too much. There's just, you can't condense everything.
So I haven't read it fully. I skipped through to get my notes for each section and whatnot. And it gave me the vibe as you were literally talking directly to the person reading. Like
that is the number one feedback I get, and thank God, because that was my biggest accomplishment. It's like I want to do this book different because a lot of times when you read the book, you're just reading a book and your mind goes into a position of visual, right? And this one does too, but you're actually. Everyone has said, I'm going to tell you, everyone I spoke to is they're like, God, I can hear you. Yeah. It's like you're talking to me. It was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Yeah. So that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And that'd be even better when you do the audiobook aspect of it.
Well, you're going to hear my voice on the emphasis on some things. That asshole. No.
Yeah. I got to some sections of that book. We're not going to name names. And I think you even kept some names out of it. Those who know, and you would read it. Some of the stuff that
maybe not. My book isn't about throwing anybody under the bus, and I'm going to repeat that. It's not about 5 seconds of glorified fame because where does that get you? It's crap. It's bullshit. It's just like if that was my main goal to throw people under the bus, my book would have been written totally different.
Right.
But it's not about that. It's about my life, my experiences, my adversities, my tragedies to triumphs. Yeah. It's about a woman in 2 male-dominated, entertainment sports that is crazy back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, it's insane. Like how I even survived and not became a statistic is absolutely beyond me.
I had that written down.
It's for little girls and boys, for parents to, maybe emphasize on a chapter or to read a little paragraph, leaving out the F-bombs. Right. But it just, I have been praised about the book and how well written it was because of the stories. The book isn't just a wrestling book, and I'm sure when you read it, you'll find out, or a monster truck book. It's a book to inspire and motivate, and just say it may not relate this monster truck or wrestling to a lot of people, but the other stuff. There's so much for so many different walks of life.
It's really cool because it is a book full of fight or flight stories, overcoming obstacles, trials, tribulations, surviving, like you said, not becoming a statistic. Something I would like my 3 daughters to read, something I think my wife would enjoy reading, and she doesn't even like wrestling anymore.
Yeah, she would. I'm sure she would.
You know what I mean? It's not a wrestling book, like you said. It's not a monster truck book. Of course, people will buy it for that reason, but I think so. I guess circling back around, it will be my first wrestling biography.
Oh, because thanks. I don't mean to be nosy, but I see something behind you. It says St. Jude. Yes. I used to be a huge contributor to St. Jude. I think St. Jude's is amazing.
Well, it's a fun fact. We're raising money all month long. April 1st it started. It's going to end May 1st. I've been doing it for years. Raising money. I do it. I push it out when we do the live streams. I plug it left and right. We've already hit our first 2 goals. I set them short, 100, 200. We're at 315. Our next goal is 400. We do it, man, and it means a lot. It's for the kids. It's just, I know, they know out there. It's all, you know what I mean.
I didn't mean to sidetrack, but I just thought
it's fine.
Cool.
It's fine.
But anyway,
yeah. I thought you were going to talk about the Dave LaGreca head back there, if you could see it.
Oh, good old Dave. I love him.
Yeah. Friend of the show.
That's okay.
Like one of our first guests. Yeah, he's a good guy.
I got another interview. What else would you like to? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll end with this. I'll end with this.
No, that's fine.
No, it's okay. It's good. Like we said, 40 years. Can't condense it into one show.
It.
When people think of you in wrestling, one of the biggest things they always think of, you dropping that title into the trash can. That did kick off the Monday Night Wars. I don't care what anyone says. You started it.
I agree with you. I'm going to have to agree with you.
I will say thank you because I turned 16 that day. That was my birthday. Aww. December 18th, 1995. You gave me a present, and I was like, holy shit, what the fuck just happened? That was
what did she do?
Right?
If you ever get Mick Foley, you can ask him about the question how he really felt about that. And then when I got inducted into the Hall of Fame, he said, Deuce, I'm really sorry. I owe you an apology. I drank the Kool-Aid. I never understood why or how or, what took place or why you did that because, I wasn't under contract, and the whole story's in the book.
It is in the book.
It's in the book. The Woman Who Would Be King, available on Amazon. You can Madusa, Madusa, on all my social media, guys. And thank you.
Yeah, no,
thank you for having me, Vanessa. Thanks for what you do behind the scenes.
Yeah, she keeps this place. She's the glue. She keeps it intact. So.
She's the glue. I love it.
Have yourself a glorious day. Thanks for giving us your time.
Thank you. We'll let you go. And good luck with St. Jude.
Thank you
My heart's
very much.
with you, man.
Yeah, anytime.
Appreciate you.
Have a great day. Peace.